Macedonia 150, and today I'm going to do a kind of like retrospective, I suppose, review-like thing of all of Data East, or sometimes it's known as Deco, or Data East, depending on how you want to pronounce it. It's fantasy-themed games, specifically arcade games. So that's, you know, Data East for some reason made a lot of fantasy-inspired, like Dungeons and Dragons inspired games, and the first one, which you can see footage of at the moment, is Hippodrome, also called Fighting Fantasy. And here's the thing about the name Fighting Fantasy. Fighting Fantasy is actually an RPG book series in the UK. You know, choose your adventure one. You have to like. Here's a dinosaur that pops up to you. I'm just using this example. Press A, flip to page 1, place 20 to fight it, or page 30 to run away. Yeah, choose your adventure book. But anyway, another thing, but I think it's only called Fighting Fantasy in Japan, probably because you didn't want to get mixed up with Fighting Fantasy, the book series, which is another interesting thing I mentioned when getting onto this. Final Fantasy's original name they were going to want to call it was also Fighting Fantasy, but they obviously changed because of the exact same book series. So that's two entirely different series for that. Whatever you call it, I'm going to go Hippodrome for the time being. Yeah, this is a one player fight, one player fighting game. Just players, an army dude who looks like he's from Fist of the North Star. There's a severe Fist of the North Star vibe to the character models in this game, trust me. And it's actually kind of similar to other games. Obviously this is a pre-Street Fighter 2 game, so well, it does have a two-player mode. The second player plays as like a punk-like guy who also plays from Fist of the North Star. But yeah, in this one you have a currency in the game. You actually gain money in the game for fights. The less damage you take, the more money you gain for a fight, and you can use it to buy better weapons. There's a kind of a hint which is sort of slightly cheating. If you want a bit of extra money in the game, put a two-player game on. You can just kill the second player off when they're not playing, and you'll get some bonus money for it. The thing where the game goes interesting is there's only one way of doing it. You can only do this once. You can only actually visit the shop when you actually beat an opponent in the game. So yeah, you can't grind for hours to get the best weapon in the game. Though technically the best weapon in the game you can actually get from only about 3 fights. Basically winning the first 3 fights, and you should have enough money to afford it. So yeah, you're probably not going to need to grind anyway. I don't know about. I guess there's also a few items in the game that give you extra health and some extra hit points, but I think they only last one fight. Then so you best be careful. Yeah, again, this is really a game about memorising patterns, as you might be able to tell by the video. I don't know if it really has a genre, this one. I mean, what would you call it? I mean, I would call it well, it's a one-on-one fighting game, obviously, but I'd say it's the genre because there's a few other arcade games like that. There's Ultraman, Monster Maulers, MetaQuester, I have no clue if I pronounced that one right, and Red Earth, also called Warzone by Capcom. All these games are in common. You basically play as one person or two players against an AI opponent that you can't play as, who's usually stronger than you. And you have to basically memorise the pattern. In other words, it's pretty much what the prototype version of games like Monster Hunter came from anyway. So yeah, that's Hippodrome. It's a fun one, but it's kind of, well, it's not actually an impossibly difficult game. If you memorise the patterns, you can actually beat this one. It's not easy, mind you, but you can actually beat it. Right, on to the second game. So the next game is Mutant Fighter, or as it's sometimes called Death Brade. Now, this one actually was released on consoles, but only in Japan and the Super Nintendo. And that version is missing the dragon character as a playable character, as well as the graphics in the arcade version. This is also the only game on this list, I believe, that actually has a console port. So yeah, Mutant fighter. So what's the difference between this one to the previous one? Well, now we've got an actual proper 2-player versus mode, and you've got 8 characters to play at, selectors instead of just being 1. The upgrade system is gone. You don't earn money anymore to buy power-ups, to buy items and power-ups. It still has all things like the character bios like the previous game. It does. It's also got more jazzy music than the previous one. And here's the thing that's obviously what she says. Yes, it's a wrestling game. But it kind of reminds me a bit more. Kind of reminds me of that way. Game provides a King of the Monsters by SNK. I mean, it plays very similar to that. Apart from there's no ability to destroy in this game, obviously. I'm actually not very good at this one. I mean, I try, but I can't figure out most of the moves. There's also a super move, as the game calls it, which basically does loads of damage like if you can pull it off. I think I pulled it off once in this video, but obviously all enemies have these as well. There's a few non-playable characters that you fight in single player as well, like a Hydra and a Gargoyle later on. It looks like the one from yeah, Hippodrome. I'm not very good at this game, to be honest. I really admit that. On the plus side, it's not the worst wrestling game out there. If you want a fantasy-based wrestling game, it's an awful lot better than the only other one I can think of, and that Beast Wrestler on the Mega Drive / Genesis, and that is an absolutely terrible game. Has some great character designs, but that's as much as I can actually say good about that game, to be honest. It's just a bad game in general. I mean, it's very complicated and confusing, and a lot of people put it as the worst fighting game on the machine for some reasons. It's also got hilariously bad English translation as well. So yeah, there's not a lot I can really say about this one, to be honest. It's a fantasy-based wrestling game. Though you don't actually win by pinning ever, you have to just win by losing the health. Just kind of like King of the Monsters. And if you die, you can just start off exactly where you was and no one gains any extra health. It's an odd sequel, this one, to be honest. I'm trying to turn it into a wrestling game. Kind of an odd thing to do, but that's what they did. Right, so the next one is Gate of Doom, also called Dark Seal. This one's, well, it's not really Gauntlet, but it's sort of a bit like Gauntlet, I suppose, in a way. This one's in an Australian isometric like view, and you have a spell book. If you kill enemies, the spell book goes up, and then when you full whatever the page of the magic book's on, you get a magic attack. It'll last for so long. You can still actually take damage while in this magic attack, so you're not invulnerable in it. But it gives you more damage power. I think you can only use the spell once per life as well, so if you use one spell without dying, you won't be able to use that spell ever again. You'll have to use a different one. Of course, you're gonna die pretty often in this game anyway, because it is pretty difficult. The angle of the game doesn't actually help here, but the game's not very generous on health, to be honest. It does occasionally drop health. It's not completely evil. I never ever got enough points ever to get an extra life in the game though, so I don't know that you can gain lives in it. There's a few power-ups you can pick up in the game, and most of these usually last until you actually lose a life as well. So if you can actually keep alive for long enough, you can actually get some use out of them. The glove is one of the most usefulest, because that gives you like double attack power, and the ring, which actually gives you 3 extra hit points. But walking into something like water, which will take damage, also uses the ring up, so be careful. And there's things like death traps, there's pitch, you can fall on a pit and instantly lose all your lives, and some attacks just kill you in one hit. It's a pretty difficult game, this one. It's fun, but it's not a game I'd say that's really well designed to be one credited. And here's another reason why. There's annoying status effects in the game that reverse your control, but the worst one has to be the poison effect, because if you get hit by poison in the game, well, you're kind of screwed. I mean, it will not wear off. You'll literally die, but it's not like poison in some other games where it leaves you one hit point left. No, this one, it literally will kill you. And the only way to get rid of it is either losing a life, or if you beat the stage, and the stage clear. Another strange thing and kind of annoying thing is when you're actually on an actual stage boss, you cannot use the magic attacks. The magic attack bar magical just vanishes, so you have to fight it properly. But yeah, it's a fun game, but it's pretty tough. Not really, not especially if you don't have one credit. Yeah, you'll have a nightmare with this one. A few years after that, they made a sequel called Dark Seal 2 or Wizard Fire, depending where you come from. This is pretty much a direct sequel. I mean, the graphics have not really changed that much from the original. The characters, the perspective of the game is the exact same. Even lots of the enemy sprites are reused, so there's some differences with this one though. You don't seem to get lives anymore in the game. You start with one life, the credit, instead of having lives like you did in the previous one, but you can still lose health incredibly fast. So yeah, this one's even harder than the original. It got rid of the ninja character altogether, and it was frankly kind of bad anyway, but and replaced it with the elf. And the elf essentially has the same ability as a ninja, moves twice as fast, but has a sword attack. Oh yeah, and a new character was added to the game. That was a gnome. No, not gnome, a dwarf. So yeah, the character got left out. So you've got 5 playable characters in this one. The game's still 2 players. I'd say there seems to be a lot less mini bosses in this game than the previous one. And here's the 2 big things you'll notice when playing this game. The easily noticeable things. Number 1. You can actually now use your magic spells in actual boss fights, or you can use them in all boss fights pretty much. You're not limited to mini bosses anymore. And they've changed things like the knight's attacks. You no longer has a spinny weapon all the time. It's like Mace will spin around. You have to charge it up and keep hold of the button for a second to do it. They're the only 2 real new features. That otherwise, that and better cutscene graphics and more voice acting in the cutscenes. But really, this is just a sequel that's not much different than the original. It's more like just an improvement over it. It's not that much of an improvement, to be honest, over the original. If you like the original, you'll probably like this. That's all I can say about this one, to be honest. And the last one is Dragon Gun. Yeah, but it is a weird thing. This is yet another one that was released in 1992. 3 of these games was released in 1992. It's crazy, I know, but yeah, this one's an entirely different genre than the previous one. So this one is a lightning game. It's a stupidly difficult lightning game as well. I mean, looking at the arcade cabinet, it had this insane looking gun, which looked like molded like a giant plastic dragon. I mean, this game is such a ridiculously difficult game. You literally have to use a smart bomb in the first screen of the game, otherwise you'll just lose the continue. That's how hard it is. I mean, there's literally screens in this game where you'll lose the continue in a matter of seconds, because there's that much on the screen. This game really does take the mick when it comes to objects on screen. Now, the graphics are great on the game. I mean, they're really detailed. It's got some pretty nice scaling, so it's like one of those old Sega games like Space Racer. So this is all fully sprites, it's not 2D. Also surprisingly violent. I mean, there's limbs flying all over the place in this game, and yeah, pretty gory game this one, to be honest. It's definitely one of the gory start of this video, that's for sure. Music's pretty good, the sprite work's really nice. Some of the boss designs is really good as well. Yeah, again, the only thing that ruins it is the difficulty. It's absolutely stupid. I mean, they just went ballistic with the difficulty here. I mean, there's hard and then there's this game. I mean, there's no way you'd ever finish this in an arcade, that's for sure. It's insane difficulty. Well, anything else I can say good about this game? music's good. Everything, there's always bad I can really say about the game graphic-wise or sound or anything. Some of the music's a bit rubbish later on, but the one thing I will say about this game is it's kind of glitchy in a lot of versions of MAME. In a lot of versions of MAME, once you reach the final boss, the game just, after the first form, the final boss just kind of locks up and just freezes and you just can't do anything. It only seems to actually, it seems to be fixing a later versions of MAME, so unfortunately the actual parts of the game after that, the real final boss after that, is just really anticlimactic. Yeah, this is one of, unfortunately, that's one problem you can say about this game. The last two bosses are kind of rubbish. I mean, compared to the ones in the previous levels, they are. That's I wondered the game's 6 stages long, so yeah, I thought I'd mention that so you know when it's gonna freeze and you're playing that version or not. Well, that was that video. That was 5 fantasy inspired Data East arcade games. Only one of them actually left the arcades as well. So, yep, thank you for listening and watching.